Good evening and welcome to the Sunday Night Roundtable. I am your host for the evening, the Wild Man, Chris Wilds. I am joined tonight by the Doctor of Buckonomics. That's right, the Dr. Corey Thompson. And Buckeye Bart is in the house with us as well tonight. Guys, I know you come in here expecting to see Eric on Sunday nights. Unfortunately, Eric had some family issues he had to deal with this evening. And hopefully everything goes well there. Maybe he'll have a chance to join us later.
Can
but
you hear me?
The three of us are going to try to hold it down until then.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Bart. Absolutely.
I can't see myself on there, but that's probably good for everybody else. So.
Well, I can see you, so
we can
it
still see you,
is frightening.
So you're the only one that gets to be spared here.
So real quick, before we get started on a couple of great topics we got for tonight, I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Buck Vader, Tyler, welcome in. Farah, thank you for joining us tonight. Jennifer, thank you for hopping in the chat. Looks like we have the Schrock star, Sean Schrock, in there. How's it going, buddy? Hope all is well there. Mean Green, thanks for joining us. Let's see here. Anybody else on it? We got, looks like a lot of Julian Sands Championship mustache, I'm assuming. Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, we love that. And welcome in at Simone. Okay. All right, guys.
TG's in there.
TG just jumped in as well. Thank you so much, Corey. Guys, make sure you are liking, subscribing, and sharing this and all of our material with all of your Ohio State friends. And also make sure you're checking out our Patreon channel, which is in the link below the video you are watching right now. Welcome in, Mika. Welcome in, Ed Rogers, as well. Thank you for joining us. Okay, guys. So we're going to see how this goes. Impromptu. Just took over hosting the show. We lost a guest along the way. We lost our host along the way. This is not the way it was supposed to roll out this Sunday night. You know what? But I think we're going to be all right. Because we got two great topics, as well as anything the chat wants to throw at us after that. So first topic, guys. Should fans' expectations create team standards? Now, we've got three follow-up questions that go with this. But let's just kick it off with that. Corey, do you think that fan expectations should be the basis for creating standards?
I don't know about the basis, but for a program that's shown they can do something, I'm talking strictly hypothetical right now. If a program has shown they can do it, then you've created the expectations. And what's wrong with the fan saying, hey, why can't we at least be somewhere near that level on a consistent basis? I do think sometimes fans are a little insane. I will say, like, the football portion of Buckeyes are. I wonder sometimes, like, guys, we have an extreme amount of success from the football program. Just because we don't win it every single year does not mean that we're a failure or something like that. But even though we'd expect to be competing for it every year, I know we'll get into basketball here soon. I want to get ahead of myself, but no, I don't think fan expectations by themselves should create it. But if you've shown you can do it, I'm sorry. What do you want? Do you want your fans to be excited or not? And then you get upset that they're not excited when when they expect more of you. I mean, you can't have it both ways.
No, I don't. Expectations should not create standards because guess what? Every fan base thinks they should be winning the national championship. Every fan base thinks they should be doing this and that. And what I mean by that is just look at Indiana last year. When you say, "Oh no, Iowa or Wisconsin, they should never expect to win a national championship." Well, Indiana was just right there. And I think as a fan, you want them to do good all the time. You expect them to do good all the time. I'm a freaking Browns fan. Do I expect them to win the Super Bowl every year? Heck yes, I do. It's just not that they shouldn't set the standard. I think every team goes in there because they're competing. They're athletes. They all want to do good and win. I think it's unreal that fans want to expect that because it's not going to happen very much. I don't think expectations should set standards, though, because we all expect to win the national championship, and I think that's what the players do and the coaches do too. That's what they all strive for. So no.
Yeah, and guys, as critical as I am, and I do have a tendency to be a little bit critical at times.
No.
I do have rather lofty expectations at times.
Okay,
But let's
stop.
let's call it what it is. It is tough to win a national championship. That is not something that's easy to do. No matter how many times Nick Saban did it, it is not easy to do. Most coaches are lucky to win one in their lifetime. So I don't think it's fair to have fan expectations necessarily say that sets the standard. But Corey, I agree with you 100%. When your team is consistently as good as Ohio State football is, I mean, we're talking about how many losing seasons in the last 50 years? Is it two?
One, maybe two, yeah.
I think it's two losing seasons in the last 50 years.
And one was
something
with
like
an interim head coach. Yeah.
that. Yes, who lost his entire roster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, when you have that kind of precedent set, fans are going to expect a lot out of your team. But to say that you're going to compete for the national championship every year, I think is fair. To say that you're going to win it every year is absolute nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So for the team to allow that to affect their perception of their goal, and that's what really matters here, is the goal that Ryan Day lays out, the goal that, if you're talking basketball, that Dieber lays out, the goal that these players lay out, that is what the standard is. That is the team expectation. Fans have one set of expectations. I think the team has their own set of expectations. And whether or not they meet those, we don't know.
I don't know if they have different ones, Chris. And the reason I say that is they all want that. They have the ultimate goal. We all want that same thing. So I don't think our differences are very much. They all strive for that perfection. Does that make sense?
Well, sure they do. But is that the goal or is that the standard? And that's what I think we're troubling to distinguish here.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris.
Now, as we talk about goals and standards, we look at last year and we started out 12-0. Most of us did not think that was going to happen, right? I mean, most of us figured this was a 10-2 team going in. Most of us thought it was going to be 10-2, just eke into the playoffs. 12-0 to start the season, go to the Big Ten title game. As the season went on, I think a lot of fans changed their expectations. So, do you think it's fair? Fans allowed, or is the team allowed to move, quote unquote, move the goalpost and change the expectations mid-season, three-quarter of the way through the season, as the season progresses? Do you think that is something that is, I guess, logical and also fair to the athletes?
I think it's just a natural occurrence in the fan base. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying it's fair. I just think when you're surprised by a team doing well, then you're like, well, wait a minute now. This team could go all the way. See, this is where I do get frustrated with the fan base, because the same fans that were thinking 9-3 3 months ago, all of a sudden we're 12-0, and then you think Ryan Day is a failure because he wasted this talent of a team. It's like, well, 3 months ago you didn't even think we'd win 10 games, So
Right.
it's definitely hypocritical. It's definitely ridiculous, and I think sometimes, I won't say everybody, that 20% of the lunatic fringe won't look in the mirror and say, well, look, they have actually got farther than what I thought they would. So they had this season. So if your standards are the same as what they were going into it, because you had what a lot of them call a critical eye or a realistic eye, and yet now you are moving the goalpost, saying that they should have went undefeated and won everything, even though you didn't think that could be possible, then I would say that the problem is with the fan in that particular instance, because that would say the team actually. Now, the team probably went into it thinking they could win it all, and they fell short of their own expectations. But if you got to be intellectually honest with yourself as a fan, and you see a team go, I don't know, I think 9-3, this team's rebuilding or whatever. Like, to me, last year, I remember going into the season saying, there's no way we're going to repeat. There's no way. And I remember during mid-year, I started saying, well, maybe they can. My goodness, they're really, really good. I didn't expect Sand to be this good. Matt Patricia's this good. But I still consider it an extremely successful season, even though we didn't finish the way we wanted to, because, heck, man, they went 12-2 and further than I kind of thought they would. or at least as far. So to me, it's a successful season. So fans need to look in the mirror and say, okay, what did I expect for this team going into it? Just because you were wrong about how good they could be does not give you the right, in my opinion. I mean, you have the right because you could do whatever you want, but does not give you the intellectual right to then change your opinion mid-season and say they're a failure because they didn't then reach my new standard for them mid-season.
Bart?
Yeah, I think that we definitely change our expectations. I think the teams change their expectations. And the reason I say that because what Corey brought up with Matt Patricia, we didn't know what he was going to do, how he was going to do things. We didn't know Julian Sayin. That's the biggest freaking position on the freaking team, and he was better than probably we expected. Um, and they didn't give him that much rope to make mistakes early on. I think that was smart. But once we saw, hey, this dude is a high completion passer, he can throw wherever he wants, that changes your expectation because you had no idea. So you go into it thinking 10-2, but after he's there, um, we can win this thing. But let's not forget how many times we've been on here after we lost to Miami thinking this team should win it all, which none of us thought maybe, some of us maybe think we should win it all. But we were upset because we changed that expectation throughout the year because we saw how good Sayin was, we saw how good Matt Patricia was, and we knew what they were capable of in our eyes. So yes, I think it is completely fair to change your expectations because the unknown sometimes is not there, and then when you finally realize it is there, you do change expectations. So yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well because I think that obviously expectations, much like our Constitution, it's a living document basically. It's very fluid. It changed. And you look at this, and you guys talked about it. Most of us thought 10-2 to start the year last year. And I was one of those people that was upset at the end of the year, Bart, because my expectations did change as the season went on. And more so, I wasn't upset that we lost. I mean, I was upset we lost.
Yeah,
but
you were.
That,
You were.
that wasn't what was making me the most angry. It was the way we lost.
Yeah, correct.
But if you look back, right after Indiana, I think it was Alex and maybe even Corey, I don't know, you might not have mentioned this. After we saw the way the line looked against Indiana, I think expectations got hampered quite a bit at that point. Not for me, but I think, but that's the point. Expectations change. They're always changing, and they're going to change this year. Maybe it's going to be the expectation of how many wins they get. Maybe it's going to be the expectation of exactly how they look in winning the games, because that's part of the expectations as well. Are they going to be dominant? Are they going to slow play this thing like they did last season? Because if they do that, I think a lot of people are going to be frustrated again. Bart, I want to go to you for the next part of this question because you are kind of, along with Eric, basketball gurus a little bit. You've played the game, you've coached the game. And this comes out from Mark Titus. And I'm going to read this quote from Titus, and I think it's going to upset a lot of people as they hear this come out. But I just want to get your take on and your thoughts on what he's saying here, and then we'll go around and kind of respond to that as well. So this is, again, Mark Titus, following Ohio State's loss to TCU in the Big Dance. We have the worst fans in the world, Ohio State. Ohio State basketball fans are the worst fans in the world. They're the worst. They're literally the worst because they watch football all year. They don't even pay attention to the basketball program. They they parachute in around late January, early February. They look up the rankings, and if we're not ranked in the top 10, they're just like, everything sucks. Fire everybody. This is terrible. They have no idea what they are talking about. Bart, I would like to get your thought about Ohio State basketball fans, Ohio State fans in general, and just how accurate is Mark Titus's comment?
Well, first of all, how accurate it is, I think it's completely accurate. But I think every fan for every fan base is terrible because when something doesn't go right, the first thing is they do is say, "Hey, let's fire this guy," and we're guilty of that too. We wanted Ryan Day fired, and now look at him. So if we had our way, we wouldn't have Ryan Day here. So that is every fan base that is kind of just in. Okay, let's be honest. How many true basketball fans out there, how many true football fans are out there that actually know the game, know that, hey, Ryan Day did bad because he didn't, run the ball more, or he, did this and that. They're just fans that just love football, I guess. And you have so many people, 100,000 people in a football stadium. How many actually are very, very knowledgeable about football? 15%, 20%, 25%, or they just go there for the atmosphere? That's the same. And football is America's sport. So basketball's always going to come second. And it comes second for us because we have a dominant football team. If we put that much NIL and that much stuff into the basketball program, you would see a better product out there. But I think he's right. And when you guys had that argument with Eric the other night, I was dying to get on there and say exactly what Eric says because we know basketball. We watch every game. We used to coach basketball. When people are on here or anywhere and say, "No, this guy needs fired," they don't know basketball. So yes, I do agree with him 100%. It's like if you understood the game and just in a realm, I guess, when you see out of bounds plays and they come back and they did a Devin Royal backdoor. That's 100% Diebler doing that. He is a good coach. Now, I will have to say that last 4 seconds was awful. That was not his best work. I think if he would have taken it back, he would do everything different. That is a mistake on him. He's a young coach. I just don't think that when you're so mad at football or basketball, you don't really know why you're upset. You just say, "This is not the expectation I wanted, so let's get rid of everybody." But to point out Ohio State fans are terrible, no, I think every fan base has expectations, and when they're not met, they are, "Hey, let's fire this guy, let's fire this guy." So we hate Alabama fans. We hate Michigan fans. And there's how many people hate Ohio State fans? So it's every fan base. It's just not Ohio State. But you look at, let's say Duke, and Duke is a basketball school. They have high expectation for Duke. Does that mean that their football program and nobody knows about football because they show up when they did decent this year? Yeah, probably, because that's just a secondary sport to them. And unfortunately, basketball is a secondary sport for Ohio State, and it will always be a secondary sport for Ohio State because we are so dominant in football. So I just think every fan base has those people, but that's just the way the nature is. So that's what I believe. And Corey's got that little puzzled look on his face, so I'll let him talk.
I'm always puzzled. That's my secret, Captain. I'm always puzzled.
Yeah.
Anyway, no. I don't actually disagree with your premise at all, Bart. I do think basically fans and period are the worst people on the planet. I mean, that being said, when I go directly to Titus's comments, I know for a fact that when Matta had this program humming, fans were excited, 100%. I know my attention was definitely much more on basketball than it is now. And I will admit, I can't comment on Diebler's coaching ability. I've only seen about 5 games this year. Granted, it's because a lot of them are Big Ten plus, and I'm not paying for it. But that's,
Hey,
I mean, that's
Corey, they're on Patreon all the time, right? We do live game shows. You can watch every game if you wanted to.
see, now they are. But that being said, I don't think it's unfair for the fan base to have expectations because they've met those expectations in the past. I think the majority of Buckeye fans in basketball, when they're talking about basketball, I definitely think that they have a more tempered expectation of the basketball program than they do the football program. Understanding that the basketball program can be very good, There's no reason they haven't made a Sweet 16 in 13 years. I'm sorry, that to me is ridiculous. That is absolutely absurd. And that's not a commentary on just Diebler. Diebler is a young coach. I'm not saying fire him because they did improve from year one to year two. Let's see what they do. But there's also some things that he has just missed on as well, especially in his talent evaluation and transfer portal. That being said, like you said, Bart, he is a young coach. So I do think the reasonable expectation is, okay, they got better from year one to year two. Let's see how year three goes. And but if they do another where they can't make it out of they don't make the tournament, or they can't make it out of the first game or whatever, you start asking questions again, like, is he the guy? How long does it take to build this program? I think Miami, Florida was terrible last year. I think now they lost to Purdue today, but they made it to the second round. I mean, we see other teams who are basket or football central, like Michigan, who, excuse me for bringing them up, but they're a football central focused program, and yet their basketball teams are really good. We see it's possible, and there's no reason Ohio State can't do that, can't replicate, at least to some level. Doesn't have to be national title status every year. All I ask for is to go to the freaking second weekend. That's all I ask. And I'm a horrible fan because I think they should be able to do that. You know, it's like it blows me away that he's going off on the fan base for having at least like moderate expectations of and not to mention it's actually insulting if you don't have expectations of the program. Like now, my expectation is they're probably going to let me down. And again, not commentary on just Diebler. It was a problem well before Diebler. During Matta's decline, when they botched his back surgery and he couldn't recruit like he used to, and it's not Matta's fault either. I'm saying that he was in a lot of pain, and I get it. And the program kind of started to suffer under him towards the end of his tenure here. Holtmann, his 25-9 year, I had major hopes. I thought this guy is going to be our Tom Izzo. He's going to be great, and it just stagnated with him and then got bad. And then now Diebler, again, young coach figuring it out. It's not perfect, but it's not as bad as I think as some of the fans think it is. He's trying like crazy. There's no doubt he's working his butt off to get this program where he thinks it should be and where we all think it should be. But I think just going off on the fans for having expectations is ridiculous by Mark Titus. I think he's an idiot. Worst fan base in the world because we think football is superior. Well, it's Ohio State. Doesn't mean we don't have expectations. Maybe if the basketball program started showing up a little bit sooner than January, we might pay more attention to it. But we have the same expectation after 13 years of doing nothing. Now we're just like, okay, they're going to be middle of the pack at best in the Big Ten, and they're probably not. If they make the tournament, they're not even going to get out of the first weekend. So that's become the standard because that's what's been recent history. And then how do you get a fan base that doesn't care? You keep doing the same kind of thing over and over and over again. I guarantee you, if the football team went 8-4 for the next 10, 12 years or worse, you'd start to lose a lot of interest in the fans. Guaranteed. Because after so many years of mediocrity at best, people start finding other stuff to do. There's too many things to think about and to do in today's world. The world is a lot smaller than it used to be. It's part of the reason why LA struggles to field a fan base for all their teams. So, because there's a million things to do out there, so you better be really darn good.
Well, first of all, to clarify, Corey, Mark Titus is an ass. He's a moron with a big mouth. That's all he is. How dare you criticize fans for having expectations? How dare you criticize fans for having passion? Does it always wield itself in the nicest way? No. Do fans sometimes go over the top? Absolutely. We're not called the lunatic fringe for no reason. Sometimes things get way out of line. Threatening players and coaches, that's out of line. But expecting your team to go out and win is not out of line. And I'm sorry, and I don't have the faith in Diebler that everybody else does. I just don't. I don't feel, and Bart, you know more than I do about basketball. I don't even deny that. And he may be somebody who's got the basketball smarts, but I don't feel like he's got that it factor to me that he finds a way to lose close games.
What tell you he doesn't? And the reason I ask this question is, and this is what I hate, because I've coached high school basketball, and after a year or two, oh, this is not the coach. Well, first of all, he's not playing with his players, okay? You have no idea his style, his players. He's got people that played for another coach, that his guys, and then we're in a bottom half of NIL in basketball. Guess what? If Ohio State football is in the bottom half of the NIL, where would we be? Would we get?
You know how you fix that, Bart? You win.
Oh, how? Okay, okay, Chris, you got me going now. What if we don't get James Smith? What if we don't get Earl Little because we can't compete? We lose Jeremiah Smith because somebody outbid us. How good is our football program, Chris? Do we think we win or not? Or are you just going to say, no, we don't win?
I think there would still be enough there to have a winning team. Not a national championship team by any means.
So would you win if you didn't have the NIL that Ohio State does, football-wise? No, we would not. So your thing about basketball is absurd. Oh, yeah, you got to win to play. Oh, how do you win? You get the best players. You're going to win maybe some games. I think we've done pretty good with the players we have. But unless you get the best players, you're not going to win.
But you look a couple of years ago, and you have teams like Oral Roberts. Do you think that their NIL is off the charts?
No,
but yet they had a good enough program to get into the playoffs or into the bracket, and then knocked off Ohio State.
Yeah, and you see in the tournament as well as I do, you get in a hot run and you just have players making plays and a couple things go here and there. Ohio State, I think a couple of bad calls here and there, Ohio State wins. Now they're into the second game. Do they knock off Duke? I don't know. But people go on runs at weird time. Doesn't mean they're the best team out there. But they're not going to compete year in and year. Where's Oral Roberts this year, Chris?
Probably in the toilet where they belong.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's a one-off, but you just can't say, "Oh, we're going to spend NIL when we win." Well, how do you expect to get NIL when we have Christopher Tilley as our center? Because that's what we can afford. We can't go out there and get somebody else that is great and dominant. And when we got the Johnson kid that we kicked off the team, that was the second
Marcus
time
Johnson.
No, that's his. That was his.
Oh, Michi Johnson.
Michi.
So they spent some money to get him. He was a turd. And guess what? Our coach kicked him off because he wasn't good for the program. And so now Marcus Johnson is going to go to South Carolina with Michi, and we lost a recruit there because our coach has standards. But don't tell me that, we have to win before we spend NIL. Why is that? We don't do that with football, but now we have to expect to do with basketball?
Okay, you say we don't have to do it with football. The football team's been winning since about 1950. With the exception of a couple of seasons, since 1950, this has been a winning program.
But what I'm saying is if we didn't spend NIL this year and we lost Jeremiah Smith, we didn't get Earl Little Jr., are we going to compete for a national championship? We are not. And then now you're going to say,
not with this schedule this year, no.
Well, any schedule, if you don't get the best players, you don't compete at the top. You can't do this year in and year out.
Now see, I have... You don't have to have a team of 5 stars to win, Bart, because Texas A&M loaded up on 5 stars and was middle of the pack under Scooter
what I'm
there.
saying, it's very, very hard not to win without 5 stars too. And if you can't compete year in and year out, you might have a good team here there, but it's hard not to.
You look at Michigan State under D'Antonio.
Yeah.
He won consistently with 3-star guys.
How many national championships they win?
I didn't say he won national championships, but he had a winning
That's
program.
The goal. Okay, what do you define as winning then?
Are we talking about football or basketball again? Because if we're equating Michigan State football to Ohio State basketball, I think that's actually fair. Because I think Ohio State, nobody here expects Ohio State to go compete.
Nobody expects a national title, but I expect them not to lose every close game they've got like they did this year.
They won some close games too. They had a buzzer beater, a half court shot here and there. We lost, but we don't have the players to compete with those. We don't have one dominant guy other than Bruce Thornton, which we're not going to have now. But when you double team, we don't have that go-to guy underneath it. You just get the ball, go get me a point. Those are things in close games. We don't have those players. I think we overachieved this year with what we had.
Well, if this is overachieving, then you're going to really hear me rant about DeBoer should be gone if this was overachieving. Because that was just pathetic.
Let me ask you a question, Bart. And I'm being sincere with this. I'm not trying to be a smart ass. Uh, Calipari wanted to coach here, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, why would he want to come here if our NRL was not going to be promised? I mean, because I've seen different figures. When you say bottom half, I'm seeing people post that we're spending more than like Iowa State, for example, and they're going to the Sweet 16 this year. They just crushed Kentucky.
Yeah.
So my point is like I know we're not spending like Duke. We're never going to spend at that level or whatever. But I'll tell you, I definitely think we could still be doing better with the resources we have. And I will say this, in Diebler's defense, he is young and he's still figuring out how to roster management. I wouldn't mind seeing us get like a GM of sorts for the basketball program to handle that for him because that's a lot of work for one coach. And I think you're going to end up driving a lot of coaches out of college sports by having them do both jobs. Thankfully, we have Mark Pantoni for the football program. So I will say it's not – I know we don't have all the advantages Diebler needs to be as successful as maybe we would like to see him at times, but I definitely think he could be more with what the resources we have.
Calipari, I really think they wanted to get away. Calipari brings a lot of baggage.
Of course.
And with everything going on now with Michigan and what we had here, I don't think we were ready to take that baggage on because we want to be a clean program. We do self-report in football. I don't think they were willing to, and I think Calipari's a great coach, don't get me wrong. I just don't think we wanted to make a deal with the devil to have a great basketball program. We wanted to do it the clean way, the right way. And that's just my thought. I don't know anything about that. But Calipari is a better coach than Diebler. Now, is that going to be long term? But Calipari is one of the greatest coaches ever in college basketball. Now, is that because he's a great mind, or he just kind of skirted the rules whenever he could because he
definitely skirted rules? Yeah.
So, is that a great coach, or somebody who gets caught and just moves to another program? Dan May, is he a great coach, or did he just assemble a great Michigan team by skirting the rules? I think.
You mean Dusty May?
Yeah, Dusty May.
Okay,
Is
gotcha.
it Dusty or Dustin?
It's Dusty May.
Dusty.
Okay. Dusty May. So do we? What program do we want? Is that okay with you two? That we want Calipari and it comes with those things, and all of a sudden we have to self-report because that's what we do. And if we do make a mistake, it comes down on us, and now we have sanctions. Or do you want to do it the right way and have a program that maybe not win national championships? But
is Dusty May not clean? I don't know. I know there's rumors out there.
Well, there's a lot of rumors out there, and I think it's going to come out.
We'll see. I mean, I don't. I'm innocent until proven guilty type guy. I mean, if he's done anything, then he deserves to be slapped for it. But if it's not,
so are you saying the SEC has never done anything bad for just because?
Of course they have. In fact, Thad Matta won in an era where people were paying kids under the table. So
I'm talking about football. Are you saying that they're SEC's innocent because they've never been caught or held accountable?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking. We can't keep switching sports here. I mean, there's a different standard for football. But,
okay. Okay. So let's bring it on. There's been a couple of great things thrown up in the chat I want to address as well before we jump to the second half. Guys, are Ohio State fans toxic? Bart, I'm going to start with you.
Every fan base is toxic. I think if you want me to be real and an outside opinion, yes. Are Alabama's fans toxic? Yes. Are Michigan fans toxic? Every fan base can be toxic when they don't win. That's just the nature of athletics. You look at I'm a big Reds fan. Last year, nobody showed up hardly for opening day, and then they started winning. And guess what? The attendance kept on climbing and climbing and climbing. Now they have expectations, and now you're full. But I think every fan base can be toxic. Yes.
Alex, or sorry, Corey.
Oh my God! Start yelling at him, Corey.
That's it. That's it. The Michigan game is more important than the national championship. But no, I think Bart hit it 100%. Every fan base. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love coming on here and talking with you guys and stuff like that. But I can go on Twitter and want to block everybody because it's horrible. It's watching the games and like our defense allows a first down. Oh, they're garbage. They're terrible. And it's just like, okay, calm down, dude. They didn't score any points. They got to the 49-yard line and punted. It's just like, calm down.
And you know what, Corey? To your point, do you ever watch the message boards on any during Ohio State football games or anything? I do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I do it sometimes. I do it for Browns, and you don't even know what the score is, and you can see how good or bad the football team is. It's about how many times they want fired, or this guy needs to go, he needs to be benched, and then all of a sudden they're the greatest thing ever. There's ebbs and flows to everything during a game. So yes, you're right.
And it's toxic to live purely on emotion, which is what fans do. And they don't want to. I mean, I'll admit, the game time, I can do it too. I'm guilty of it. I try to keep it quiet because I know externally my internal thoughts need to stay internal during the game sometimes because I'm thinking some things that you shouldn't be thinking. And then the game ends and you have a time to sit and reflect. You go, okay, it's not as bad as I thought it was in the moment, not as good as I thought it was in the moment. So you definitely have to recognize yourself and take a step back and go, well, let's wait till the game's over and then we can fully analyze what happened or what's going on. Because, I mean, that's why coaches, they think it's cliche. Everybody thinks it's cliche, but it's true. When coaches are in the press conference and say, I got to see the tape. Yeah, I can't remember one play from the second quarter, but I had to manage this whole 85-man roster during the game. So give him a second to look at the tape and see what happened. That type of thing. And then it's like my buddy Brandon does a great job. B Moses, y'all know B Moses, does a great job of watching the game 6-7 times and watching different parts of it. He'll come and say, you know what, I have a different opinion than what the beat writers were saying. So it even did that with the Michigan game in 2024, which was got to be some kind of torture. I think it's unconstitutional for him to do that to himself. But that being said, yeah, I definitely agree that all fan bases are just toxic in emotion. And then there's a certain percentage of them will sit back and like, okay, let's analyze and see what's what after the game.
Hey, Chris and Corey, got a quick what I answered earlier. What do you guys do? What percentage of our fan base do you think is very knowledgeable, almost like a B Moses or us, that we know what guard play is, we know what linebackers do, we know the intricacies of football. So we are, when Julian saying makes a bad throw or a bad read, somebody else might be mad. It's like, okay, we understand why he did that. What percentage of our fan base do you think is that where we are very knowledgeable? We know why we're mad because of this. What do you think?
With football or basketball?
Football.
Football, 20% maybe.
You
That's
think
about
that
where I
much?
was at as well. I was between 15 to 20%. Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
15 to. I might be high, but yeah, I don't think it's that high. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be like 50% or something insane like that. 20% is about as high as I'll go. Yeah.
It's unfair to ask that question on this format, Bart, because I tend to think we have some very knowledgeable fans
Oh yeah, yeah.
that track this show.
And guess what? How many fans do we have? 50 to 100, on here. It's like
Well, I mean, on here right now, but we have about 10,000 followers overall.
right, yeah.
Well,
But,
actually, we got over 20 between the different social media platforms.
Buck Vader made a great point earlier. He says, with 11 million fans, it's hard not to have not toxic. You have to have toxic people with 11 million fans. It's
No,
just gonna
easily.
happen. But I think a lot of our fans, people are here. They want to know. They know football. They love football because we talk about it. But I'm thinking it's 5 or 10% that actually know the game and play the game and all that other stuff.
I can go ahead and I will say you could have played the game and still be a moron. Paul Pierce is the best example of that I've ever
Absolutely.
seen.
Yeah. So when they say toxic, what fans are this coming from? It's not coming from us people, because we actually can back up why we're upset. But most of the people say, well, let's get rid of this guy. Well, why? Well, because we lost. That's why. So he's talking about, even in basketball, he's talking about those fringe people that don't know the game, that just are upset because they think they should be upset because we didn't win. So
I
And,
guess what the funny part about that, Bart, real quick, Chris, is those fans who don't watch, don't know, they only see as a scoreboard or something like that. They'll check on what happened and the score chart. Is they will tell you it's a results-based business, Bart. It's only it's like, well, you don't even know how we got to that result.
yeah, it's just
see,
those people.
and that's the thing. I'll push back on that. Yeah.
You
Go
go,
ahead,
Chris.
Chris. I'm sorry.
No, as I say, I'd push back on that because, and I mentioned it, when I talked about how I was disappointed in our football team at the end of last season. It wasn't necessarily the loss; it was the way we lost.
Exactly. Yep.
And that is where my struggles are with the basketball team. Because let's be honest, I'm not a basketball super fan. I enjoy to watch the games. But I'm not a basketball super fan. I never coached. I shot around in the backyard was about the extent of my playing. Go down to the playground every now and then. But, I enjoy to watch every now and then. But it's the way that we lost games this season that really bothered me. And that is where I get my, I guess, dislike for DeBoer as a coach. And again, this is something that maybe he does overcome with time. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I believe what you and Eric are telling me, that he's probably very knowledgeable about basketball. I believe that. He's a hell of a lot more knowledgeable than I am. I'm the first to admit that. But I just don't. When I see his guys play, I don't see the passion. I don't see the. I don't know. There's something at the end of games that just, whether it's the play calling, whether it's the lack of passion, emotion, whatever you want to call it, to me that bothers me.
Well, and I'll push back on that a little bit, Chris, because your leader was Bruce Thornton. How many times you've seen him smile? How many times you actually get him and have high fives? He is the leader and the backbone of that, and they're going to go what their captains go. We won a national championship because we had great leaders back a couple years ago. Bruce Thornton is a guy that plays with no emotion. He just does that and goes by example. And our guys followed that. Now, Andrew Bynum, he's a big rah-rah guy, but he was not the leader. He showed emotion, but Bruce Thornton was just, I love him to death because he just played basketball. He didn't get upset at the refs. He just played basketball. And I don't need no rah-rah guys. I want Bruce Thornton on my team. So I when you say there's no emotion, I saw guys diving. I saw there's the lack of effort is definitely there. I just think your leader was just not that type of guy to lead that team with a rah-rah type of style, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, and to get back to the original question, do I think our fan base is toxic? I think, like you guys said, there are toxic fans in every fan base. I don't think the fan base as a whole is toxic. I do believe they're very passionate. I think they are very demanding. I think they have expectations based upon past performances. It's like I think we're just very passionate. There are some who are toxic. We talked about it. The guys who are out there threatening coaches, who are out there, talking trash to the coaches' kids, who are out there talking trash to
It makes me physically
players.
ill that Ryan Day had to take his kids out of school. That makes me
Absolutely.
physically ill. Yeah.
But
So let me ask
that's
you.
not the entire fan base.
Yes.
No, I agree.
But guess what? Do you hate Minnesota's fan base?
No.
No, because we win, and other fan bases want to win, and they get mad at the people who cheer for teams to win. I hate Alabama's fan base because they win, because sometimes I'm jealous because they win.
It's not because they win that I hate Alabama's fan base. It's because they can't properly structure a sentence. That's why I hate Alabama's fan base.
You think so?
Row tie.
There's a lot of people that can't do sentences on Ohio State fans, too. I hate to tell
Yeah,
you
we
that.
have to remind each other how to spell Ohio all the time. So.
Yeah, OHIO, yeah.
Real quick, guys, we had a
That's a
2-hour
good one,
super
boy.
chat come in from Bobby Mack. He wants to know who all is going to the spring game. Yeah, great question. Who all is going to the spring game this year?
Because today we missed
We
it.
might want to get that spot early. I guess we'll go down there today. We'll send Eric down now. But who all is going to go to the spring game? Of course, we're having our big spring game tailgate meetup there this year. It's a really good time.
What is the spring game?
It is April the 18th.
Okay.
And we'll probably be down there on campus starting at about 6 a.m. is when Eric and I normally get there. And we'll fire up the grills. We'll have some breakfast. We'll have some lunch. Usually end up there after the game having some dinner. That's just what we do.
Corey, are you going to be there?
I'm going to try. Yeah.
No, I need an answer.
Well, that's the best I can give you right now.
Bobby Mack put $2 on there that he needs an answer.
Well, you know what? Thank you for the $2.
All right, so
It ain't going in my pocket. So.
this is what we've determined. I don't know basketball, self-admittedly. We've determined that part of our fan base is toxic. And we've determined that Mark Titus is an absolute ass. That is what the takeaways are from the first half of this show. We're ready to move on to the next half of this show. And then we're going to catch some of the things that people threw in the chat. We're going to discuss those real quick if we have some time remaining. Second topic is how to properly look at former Buckeyes. Guys, we've had a lot of guys, especially this year, hit that portal. A lot of our football guys are in other places. And one of those guys is getting very high praise in his new location. And that is Mylan Graham, who, of course, is over at Notre Dame. I am definitely not the best person to speak on this because we all know I have certain types of feelings towards this. So we're going to get objective opinions from the two of you before I chime in. Mylan Graham, again, getting very high praise, being labeled a difference maker. They're talking about his skill set. They're talking about how he's performing in practice, the smooth route running, the advanced releases, the strong ball skills, all I'm sure enhanced by his time here at Ohio State, but now paying the dividends over in South Bend. How should we feel about this, Corey? What do you think?
Okay, I'm going to start by saying I could not begin to care less what they are saying about Mylan Graham because it is off-season hype, and we are used to it. We have heard it from about Mylan Graham here at Ohio State for the last 2 years, and then he gets in the game, can't catch a cold. So they could say whatever they want. They probably haven't seen many athletes at wide receiver that are on his level because we had just buckets of them, and we're used to it. And they see a guy that's one of our fifth or sixth stringers and go, holy smokes, they had this just sitting on the bench? Well, yeah, because we have monsters in front of him. And yes, he's extremely talented. Nobody's ever denied that. Does his attitude match his talent? Does his work ethic match his talent? I don't know. Great. You can see him in a couple scrimmage plays, and he'll blow somebody away on your defensive backfield, and you think, wow, we got a difference maker. Awesome. Come season time, when it's crunch time, it's time to get real and get nasty and get in there and get dirty and hurt in the football season. Will he be there? He hasn't shown it yet. Maybe he will, but he hasn't shown it yet. So whatever they say about him, they're probably trying to excite their fan base about the fact they got him. Because we do the same thing. Our media does the same thing. This guy, I mean, for crying out loud, Nevada Buck was saying Devin Brown was a Heisman candidate. So I don't really care what the beat of any program says in the offseason. It matters only when you get to the season and see what they do.
Bart.
Yeah, I'm complete with Corey here that I don't think they've seen a receiver there like that in a while. And to answer your question about how we perceive them, Chris, my answer would be it depends on how and why they left. They live on good terms. Were they looking out for themselves? I think Mylan Graham, for example, saw the writing on the wall and said, hey, I'm not going to play here. I am not good enough here. I'm going to go somewhere that I think I can play. Now, will I root for him? No. Just because I'm competitive. Do I want him to do good as a person? Probably. Now, if he was here and left for more money and he was a starter here, 100% I would never root for him again. Did I root for Joe Burrow when he left? 100%. I love Joe Burrow. He was just in a situation where he wasn't good enough to get where he was. Now, if he was playing against Ohio State, no way I would root for him. And the reason I say that is LeBron James. I'm a huge I watch every Cavaliers game. I love LeBron James. I hated that guy the most in the world when he went to Miami because the way he did it. But guess what? When he came back and won me a championship, I love LeBron James. So it really depends on who they play for. When they play for you, you love them. When they don't play for you, you don't like them. But will I really hate them? It depends on how they leave. If they did it the right way and they were looking out for themselves and they were never going to get a chance here, I will still root for them. But when comes against playing Ohio State, I will never root for them. So that's my take.
So, Corey, I'm going to come back to you, and I'm gonna wrap up with my take because Bart kind of shifted us into the second half of the question, which was,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay. That's okay.
How dare you?
Is it okay to root for former Buckeyes if they leave the program via the transfer portal?
Depends on how they leave. Kind of like piggyback off what Bart said. Yeah, I absolutely rooted for Joe Burrow. In fact, I love the fact that Ohio State fans were cheering them beating Auburn that one year. I loved it because Joe Burrow did not leave under bad circumstances, and he kept routinely coming back to the campus to see his friends. And then he praised Ryan Day's development and his Heisman. I mean, that guy, yes, he's LSU Tiger. I'm not trying to claim him, but he has Buckeye in his heart. You can't say he doesn't. I wish it would have worked out for him here, but we had a guy named Dwayne Haskins on the roster who was pretty darn good. So it's just one of those. It's just a logjam at the point at a position where only one person could be on the field. So I think we all appreciate the fact Joe had to go play, and he did. And boy, did he make the most of it. Now he's a great quarterback in the NFL. So we always love Joe Burrow, but there's guys who leave who have a nasty taste in their mouth, who spread rumors, who say terrible things about the program and the people involved in it. And you know what? Whether we all bicker inside or not, Buckeye Nation is our family. You don't mess with the family. I don't care. Even if you think you're right about something, I don't want to hear it because I will pick on my family. You won't pick on my family, because you're not a part of it.
Don't mess with the family, Corey. Okay?
Exactly.
So my take on this whole thing is this. Corey, much like you, I couldn't give a crap about Mylan Graham right now. I really couldn't. He is a guy who has fallen into the same realm as that idiot who's coaching him. He's one of those guys that you talked about. It trash talked the program on the way out the door. The fact is, he got himself in trouble, got himself benched the first half of the game, gets in the game. First thing he does is start dropping passes. We hear how great he is in spring ball, just like they're hearing now, and he didn't do squat when he got on the field.
He did juke a Grambling guy, though. He did juke a Grambling guy one time.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Chris, who is, maybe you guys remember, who was the ultimate spring game guy that never
Bam Childress.
That's who it was. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I think it's okay to cheer for a guy who leaves the program if, like Corey says, if, like you said, Bart, he does it the right way. People get on me for my hatred of Marcus Freeman and now my dislike of Mylan Graham. And they say, well, everybody does. All these people leave all the time. Yeah, they do. But, when Luke Fickell left to become a head coach somewhere else, did he trash talk the program on the way out the door? Did Hartline do that? Absolutely not. I'm still going to tell you, I still think there's something there that there might be a little bit of a friendship working back and forth between USF and Ohio State. I'm just saying. If you leave the right way, if you're respectful, I got no problem with you going somewhere else and coaching, going somewhere else and playing. But when you start running down the people who initially gave you your shot, man, that just makes you trash. And that's where I'm at with it. All right, guys. So I flagged some questions in the chat or some comments in the chat, and I want to get your takes on things before we wrap up for the night. As we're approaching the 9 o'clock hour, it's probably going to be a short one tonight, guys. I know that probably upsets Corey, who has to be at work probably early in the morning.
Yeah, I got to open at 6:45, yeah.
So
I've got to get to work around 10 or 11 or whenever I want. So, yeah, we can go all night.
I feel for you. Yeah.
I'm on spring break.
Oh, my gosh. Are you on location in Florida right now, Chris?
No, I am home. I'm going to be doing some work around the house this week.
By the way, before we forget, happy anniversary. Did you do anything great for your anniversary?
We actually, my son was coming home this weekend from Washington, D.C.
Okay.
So we wanted to spend time with him when he got home. So we actually postponed our little getaway. We went and we had a meal, but we're going to postpone our little getaway a couple weeks and then go in a couple weeks.
Are you going anywhere good?
I don't know. Bobby planned it.
Oh no, that's not good.
So, no, that's going to be great.
Okay.
All right. So let's start with this one, Bart, for you, real quick. If Ohio State wants to be a factor in March, your best players cannot be guys like Devin Royal and Bruce Thornton, guys who won't even be invited to an NBA camp. Do you agree with that?
No, because how many people go in the NBA anyway? Bruce Thornton, one of the greatest players in Ohio State history, he's going to be a fringe NBA player. Um, but you have to get those guys. You look at the old Ohio State teams, the 1992 team. How many players went to the NBA? Jimmy Jackson,
Jimmy Jackson?
Lawrence Funderburk
I was say Funderburk had a
little bit, and Chris
taste up there with the Kings, right?
Yes, and he was, but that was one of the greatest teams we've ever had, and one player made a difference in the NBA. You have to have those role players, just like on a college football field. How many players from Ohio State? Well, I can't say Ohio State this year, but actually make a huge contribution. And you got what 50, 60, 70 guys on a team. So you have to have guys like that. You just can't. And if you do in today's game, just like Duke, you get them 1 year and they leave. And you can't get continuity. You will never see another Bruce Thornton ever again because they will leave, they will transfer. He is just an enigma that is not going to happen again. But I don't agree with that. I think you have to have guys like that. The players that are just going to be great and glue guys. If you don't, you're never going to be successful.
And Devin Royal's not a bad player. What is it?
That's my. I don't know. He did not.
He's up and down. Don't get me wrong. He's up and down, but he can go off some nights on top.
Well, the problem is he's a tweener. He's not big enough
to
be forward, not too small enough to be a shooting guard. He's just in between, and it really hurts him.
Okay.
Well, okay, fair point. Oh, well, of course you could win with Bruce Thornton's and Devin Royals as a plan, but you know what? You do need the Anthony Thompson that's coming in. You do need the Amari Bynum who's emerging as a star, who are just athletic freaks who are the lights going on. I mean, Bradshaw was an athletic freak, but the light never went on for him. So you need guys who can take that next level with their athleticism. So I think next year they actually have the makings of a Mobley and Bynum and Thompson, where it's the beginnings of potentially a pretty solid team. We'll see what they do in the transfer portal. But
that's what the NIL transfer. That's where it's so important. If we are up near the top, we're going to get a top center. We're going to get a point guard. You get a point guard and a center on that team, look out. But that's where we have to compete with other teams, and we're not doing.
Well, that we have to evaluate correctly as well, because we've had a lot of transfers flame out. So.
Well, I don't know if I agree with you, because you got to get what's left over. When all everybody else is choosing the Dukes, the North Carolinas, Illinois, whatever, they're choosing other teams, and so you got what's left over, and so you don't get the cream of the crop. So I don't know if it's a talent evaluation. It's more, hey, we need a 7-footer. Here's Christopher Tilley. He was good in another team. Now, is he going to be great? That's enough to be seen. But he is the softest, weakest 7-footer I've ever seen in my life. So,
I don't know. We've had some soft and weak ones. Bradshaw was pretty bad. So.
Yeah, yes, he was.
Okay, Corey, we're going to lead with you this time.
All right.
Is there enough NIL money for universities to be successful in both football and basketball?
I mean, there are teams that are doing it. Now, granted,
but they're limited.
Okay. What's successful? I mean, we might declare success in different terms. I don't think the basketball program, for example, has to be successful by winning national titles. I'm happy competing for the Big Ten 1 out of every 4 years, and going to the Sweet 16 once in a while, and maybe making a fluky run here once in a while. I know it's a different era. I guess it's the NIL era, but I mean, Thad Matta coached in an era where they were doing underhanded money everywhere, like the Nike deals and whatnot going on with Duke and North Carolina and things like that. They were completely funneling money to kids back then, and Thad Matta was the cleanest coach on the planet. I mean, even Jared Solinger joked that Dad made him buy his own Gatorade, when he was on a recruiting trip. So if he was able to pull it off on an era where, kids were still getting money, just they were getting it illegally, I like to think we could find a way to do it in an era where we don't have the NIL of a Duke, for example. But I don't expect them to be Duke either. What's successful? Because this is where the lunatic fringe argument comes in again. Do you expect them to compete for national titles every year? Then I think you're just gonna be disappointed. It is what it is. I just want to see them go to the second weekend. That's all I want. I just want to. Oh, that was a great season. We know we won 23, 24 games, competed for the Big Ten. We went to the second weekend. That's a pretty good season to me.
Yeah.
Can we do that at least to ever? I guess right now, 13 years going on. Can we do it ever? Football is king in Ohio State. It always will be. I expect them to compete for national titles pretty much year in and year out with a rebuilding year once in a while.
Bart?
No, you definitely can, and especially at Ohio State. Ohio State's got more fans, more money than anybody else. If we can compete in football, why can't we do that in basketball? You're not talking about, we're not talking about the type of money that football demands. You're talking about what 10, 15 people on a scholarship at basketball, and you could get, if you get 3 top guys with NIL, you're going to compete for a national championship. So you're not talking about great amounts of money. So yes, I think you can. But I think almost every school has either a dominant football team or a dominant basketball team, and they always choose. But I think you can. I think Ohio State can be that way. We are close to being that way, I believe. We just need to have the right players, and at one point we did. Back in the '90s when we were winning a lot of basketball games, we weren't winning that many football games. I mean, we still were, but we weren't. John Cooper kind of had something to do with that. But were we dominant in football and basketball back then? I would say we were. Why can't we get back to that? So
I don't know about dominant in the '90s, early '90s, and then late '90s, but there was a middle.
Yeah.
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 So Troy poses something. I want to slightly change this around a little bit. And I'm going to add the word historically to the front of this. Historically, Ohio State has been good at football because Ohio State is one of the talent-rich states in that sport. They kept the talent at home. I don't know that's as much anymore with national recruiting, but I would say during the 90s era that you're talking about, that was very true. And I would also say that you were talking about the basketball team being successful at the same time. At that time, I think Ohio State was also a very good basketball state. Ohio State had very good high school basketball. Is that true now? Does Ohio State have more kids focusing on football, and we don't get as many kids interested in coming to Ohio State to play from Ohio? Or is the talent just not there in Ohio like it was in the '90s?
I don't think it was. I don't think it is. We had one of the very first 5 stars we've had in Ohio State in a long time coming here. I mean, you're talking about back in the '90s. I'm talking about, Mark Baker was from Dayton, Jimmy Jackson was from Toledo, Thunderburk, I believe, was from
Columbus.
Indiana.
No.
Yeah, he was
from Columbus.
Yes. And so Bill Robinson back in the day, he was from there. Tom Brandy, we was from here. So we had a lot of homegrown talent, but the talent that sometimes the high has, they're going to Duke. If you get a really great talent, they're going to the basketball factories. I just don't see like Mr. Basketball in Ohio going to a top tier program. This is the first one we've had in a long time. A 5-star in Ohio, other than LeBron James, coming to Ohio State. So I don't think it is anymore.
How can we not win the recruiting battle with LeBron James? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you got to hit up LeBron for some of that NIL donation, man. Come on,
Yeah.
You say you love Ohio, you say you love Ohio State. Let's see it, man.
Yeah,
we don't
you
want
just
tennis shoes. We want NIL dollars.
We gave you a locker.
Yeah, I watched the state tournament this weekend of the boys, and there just wasn't. There's a lot of MAC kids there. You don't have anybody that's just heads and above everybody else, and I think it's kind of leveled off some, and I have no idea why. So I couldn't tell you a reason for it.
Corey, is it a talent thing? Is it a talent thing with in the sports one versus the other in Ohio, or is it something else?
I don't. I don't think it's the way with recruiting is so national. The world is so much smaller and less regional. I just don't think it's an issue of whether or not your state is as talented as it used to be. I mean, you had to back in the day. You were other colleges weren't as well known to the regional kids because of lack of coverage and lack of media attention. So that's why the media markets were so big back then. If you could be in the media market, but I think nowadays it's you pop on Twitter, you could find out about anything. You pop on the internet, you can find out about anything. So if we do get somebody who's like an Anthony Thompson's kind of amazing, we got him. I wonder what we spent to get him to keep him in Ohio, but he could have easily gone to Duke or whoever the. I mean, you can't even say the typical basketball factories anymore because Kentucky aren't what they used to be. Indiana's not what it used to be. So it's just been a major shift in just who's spending money and who's not, like Bart kind of said. And on top of that, it's just a smaller world. And when people see that smaller schools could do it, it opens up doors to other opportunities for these kids. Sometimes they feel like, I don't want to go to a Duke that I'm going to sit on the bench until I can actually get onto the court or whatever, like it used to be. I want to go to Texas Tech or somebody or Virginia or somebody where I know I'll play right away, and I want to get NBA recognition right away. So I just don't. I don't know if it's a talent issue as much as it's just the national reach is different than what it used to be. So I don't think people concern themselves with like because there's just so much competition anyway. Like you still got Xavier in Cincinnati and Dayton and other schools in Ohio. I'm not saying they should recruit on Ohio State's level, but is Ohio State really regarded as better than them? Not really in basketball. So again, it's not that far a drive to Duke, North Carolina. So I don't know if that's what it is. I just think Ohio State, if they could somehow sustain some kind of success, they could actually get on the level of, hey, Ohio State is an actual Miami of Ohio. I don't know, Bobby. They were pretty overrated this year, but they are doing well, I guess you could say at the moment. But their demise was predictable. But
I think basketball is so much different than football. Is you miss on a couple players on a football recruiting, you can still be really good. You miss on a couple players on a basketball, you're done because you only got 15 chances to get good players, where you have 80 some on a football team. So if you miss on a couple good talented players that just don't pan out, you're set back a couple years. So you have to be really good evaluating.
that's true too. Yeah, you got to
That
hit.
kind of
more.
goes back to what you were saying, Corey, about does Diebler really have the eye? Because it does seem like some of these guys he's maybe missed on. They came in, they didn't live up to expectation.
Well,
Is that Diebler's fault? Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes it's more hype than substance. I mean, sometimes maybe it is lack of development. I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable enough to know that. But
you look at Andrew Bynum. Guess what he did this year? He brought him in. That dude is
Mark-
a
and he looked good. I like Bynum a lot. I think he was great.
That's his
You
player.
mean Amari Bynum, right?
Yeah, Amari Bynum. That's his player. He's a freshman, and that's his player, and that's what he.
I hope
is
we
gonna
keep
get.
him.
I was to
Now
say,
he-
but will he be here again next year? Is the question.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think he's good enough to go right now, but I think he should come back. But that's the thing. It is you could be really really good, and they have 1 year, and then you have to start over and get another good year. Basketball is difficult to be just dominant every year unless you're. Duke has like 5 players that probably just play 1 year and go, but they do it every year, and that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, we don't expect. I just want to make it clear again. We don't expect to be Duke ever. So
Yeah,
I mean,
well.
if some fans, I'm not saying you, Bert. I'm not
No.
even saying you, Chris, at all. If some fans have that expectation, I don't know. Even begin. There's so many delusions in your life that we don't even know about.
Well, what do you think about like Nebraska fans for football? They were freaking dominant back in the day, 90s or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Their expectation, we should win, but now look at them. It's like there's no way they have expectations. Their expectations going 500. So it depends on if you're good and when you're good and how long you are good.
So Vader has an interesting take here. We talked about you guys were both mentioning the fans and how sometimes the fan expectations aren't realistic. Does the toxicity of the fan base, and I love this question, by the way, Vader, this is a great question, or comment, I should say. is it directly related to sports gambling?
Oh, 100%. The love of money is root of all evil, and then people, when they put their money on the line, they will absolutely become insane.
Well, and I do sports gambling, and
I
the
do
only
too.
sport I do is college football, because I know more about college football and I can predict. I don't do NBA, I don't do college basketball because it can turn on if somebody gets a, you know, foul trouble or whatever. Football's not like that, so I know more about it. And I have one rule: I don't bet against Ohio State because I don't want to go into game hoping that they don't win or they
Yeah.
don't win by enough. I always have them cover the spread. Um, and so if you're doing that and you're a toxic fan, now the only way you can be a toxic fan is if Ohio State doesn't cover the spread or something like that. Um, but it could be. I think it's a small percentage though that are getting upset because of that. Um, I don't know. What about you, Chris?
Um, yeah, I mean, obviously, and Corey mentioned it. The love of money is the root of all evil. It really is, and I'm not gonna lie. I've had that love affair myself once or twice.
Who hasn't
Uh,
had the love of money? We go to work and we do things to make more money
We're
every
we're
day.
all we're all
exactly,
fallen. We're all fallen. We're all
exactly.
fallen.
And I do
Yeah.
think it definitely changes our attitudes, for better or worse. I'm not gonna. If I want a big bet on an Ohio State football game, I'm probably gonna be a lot happier than if I lose a bet on Ohio State basketball.
But
Um,
I'll give you something as a sports guy. I mean, a gambling guy, Chris. Is if you're putting that much money that you're so upset that you lose,
it's
then
not
that's
about
too much money.
it's not about the amount.
It is.
Dollar. It could be
If I'm comfortable,
$5. It could be $10. I am that type of it's the competitive nature that I've got in me.
me
I
too.
don't like to lose at anything ever.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, if you have $1,000 and you have $1,100 in your bank account and you depend on it, you bet as much as that you're comfortable losing. And so every
Correct.
weekend I do 25 bucks and do a parlay, so I can win a lot. And I usually don't win because I miss in a couple games here and there. But I'm not betting so much that I get so upset because I lost that. It's not. It doesn't revolve my life. And I don't think there's a lot of people out there that does that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I think it's a lot more than you think. Um, yeah, Vader. I'm the same way. I always steer away from. I
Oh,
steer away
yeah.
from betting baseball because baseball's so
Yep.
unpredictable. But you know
I know.
what?
Yep.
I do have a tendency to bet, and I don't bet a lot of college basketball. I do bet during the NCAA tournament. That's the only thing that really makes it fun for me because, as I've said to most people, for me, the NCAA tournament is what bridges me between college football and Major League Baseball season.
Yeah.
I mean, but that again, because basketball is not my love.
Yeah.
But I can see. I know it gets Eric fired up when I say that, or I discount the nature of Ohio State basketball. But
But the thing is,
I don't really care that much about it. It just irritates me when I see anyone wearing a block O and losing the wrong way. That's what bothers me.
yeah. Well, and I'm an engineer, so I'm more analytical than most people. And so when you have a baseball game, an NBA game, or whatever, you can have the bottom feeder, the Pittsburgh Pirates, playing the Cubs or the Brewers. At any given night, the Pirates can win.
Yes.
You have the bottom feeder of I don't know, Sisters of the Poor against Ohio State. You know who's going to win. It's just by how much. So the odds are more on your side to do NCAA football um, than any other sport known to man. So
Yeah.
just more predictable.
All right. And let's see.
And by the way, it's really freaking raining where I'm at right now. There's that storm.
Oh, the storms are hitting me pretty good right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, I probably think this might be a good time to cut us off. Corey's got to get up early, and who knows how long I'm going to have my internet the way the lightning is flashing and the thunder is rolling outside right now. So,
Are you Garth Brooks?
guys, I want to thank everybody in the chat tonight who has stopped in to visit us again. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this and all of our videos with all of your Buckeye friends. Corey, Bart, thanks for joining me tonight in this kind of impromptu edition. Not so much that we were surprised by the show, just maybe the staffing that was on a little bit tonight.
Well, we're all praying for Eric and Sarah.
Absolutely.
Hopefully
Of
they get
course.
back tomorrow. So yeah.
Yeah. And if not, I will see you guys again tomorrow if things don't go well. But hopefully, Eric will be back on tomorrow night. And until next time, good night. God bless. Go Bucks. OH.
I-O.
Bart's wrong.
Always.